Just want to let you lot know that if you're watching this clip on the Fozcast YouTube channel, the full episode is now available to watch exclusively on Spotify, and it's free. Come on. Right, I want to talk about injuries. I think this is the biggest blighter of anybody's, obviously, football career, but yours in particular, because this is what held you back from being one of England's probably most capped players, in all honesty, wouldn't it have been? Because you got into the team early.
I think I'd have got 100 caps.
Easy 100 caps. You'd have got one of those lovely gold ones is what you would have done. Talk to me about, because I think a lot of people, right, when they support a football club and they see a player getting injured, they think, oh my God, he's injured again. And I don't think they think about the person behind the injury. Yeah. And having had a lot of injuries myself, it is one of the biggest head in the world, isn't it?
Kills you, doesn't it?
It absolutely kills you. You can't do what you want to do, and you're dying to do what you want to do. And not even is it just that injury there and then. Going forward, you just yourself, don't you?
Yeah. I think as well, eventually, that's why I finished at 30. And it weren't because I could have carried on. Yeah. Because I didn't stop because of injury. But like just going through it so many times.
The rehab.
The rehab and, you know, going in the physio room while everyone else is going out. And listen, I would have carried on, but I just thought in the back of my head, like, imagine. So I went to Denmark for 6 months. Yeah. But imagine if I then carried on and I went, I don't know, to Turkey or Cyprus or somewhere. I chased it around Europe a bit. Then you get injured. Yeah. Like, and you're away from your family.
Stuck in a foreign country.
I just thought, like, it's not worth it. And to be honest with you, like, when people ask me now about my injuries and say, oh, like, how are you about them? Like, the honest answer is I don't know. And I don't know when that will ever hit me. Like when you say, you know, you could have got 100 caps or it stopped me being the player I could have been. Like, to be honest with you, I don't ever think like that because I don't think I can, because then I think it would affect me. Do you know what I mean?
What was one of the worst injuries you had?
My first injury was my worst, and I paid the price a lot for that. It was my right ankle. It was like the talus, which is like basically you've got your fib, and then it's like a little bone here that sits on top of your fib and your ankle joint, and I fractured that. Yeah. And I went to see the specialist surgeon, and he was like, well, I've never seen that. We've seen it in one person. It was a snowboarder. Wow. Because you imagine their ankles are locked in, they can bend it like that. So they got in another guy, specialist, to do surgery. And I didn't know this till a few years later. So I then went back. It must have been about 6 years. I was 19. 6 years later, I was 25. I went back to see the surgeon, and he was like, oh, you're still playing?
Nah.
Yeah. And I was like,
it's normally a career
ender.
He was like, done.
He showed me the notes from the surgery, and it was like, yeah, might not play again, might not be able to walk. Yeah.
And you didn't know that?
Didn't know that.
That's maybe a good thing to not know, to be honest.
Yeah. I think it was a good thing.
What was it, a pin? Do you have to have a pin put?
So I put 2 pins in it, yeah. But then, like, I paid the price. It never moved.
Really,
the same. So then obviously it affects your knees.
Everything
your hip,
suffers from there on out.
Yeah.
Did you do, I did a navicular injury in my foot once. I think you've done the same as well.
You might have been playing that game.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I remember when I did mine, and I remember the physio saying, oh, it's what Jack Wilshere did, like, I don't know, a few weeks or a few months ago or something like that.
Did you have surgery on it?
I had surgery on it to have a pin for it. So the navicular bone it's like one of the weight-bearing bones in your feet, in your foot, top of your foot, but it's also got a really bad blood supply, like awful blood supply. So the chances of it actually rehabbing and healing are actually fairly slim. You've got to be super careful with it. So I remember just even mine having a pin through it, but I couldn't put any weight through that foot for 2 months. Yeah, man. I couldn't even rest it on a table. So it's all plasticasted up and stuff. I couldn't even put it on a table, rest it, because it would be too much pressure going through it. But this is the sort of stuff that people just won't see. They don't see you struggling in your daily life with these injuries, and they frigging hurt.
And what happens with your mentality? So when you're sat there, because obviously you got players every day striving to get better in the gym, on the training ground and stuff, and you're out for 6 months, 8 months, 2 months. Does it get into your head and you go, I'm going backwards here and they're going forwards? Do you get paranoid? Or do you just focus on rehab?
I think everything goes through your head.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, like, the game is just getting faster and faster all the time. Yeah. And I just remember, I was out once for 19 months.
What was it?
What was that ankle? Yeah. So then I started to come back from that ankle, got another stress fracture somewhere else because I went too quick. Then my knee, and I was out for 19 months. I remember just thinking, am I ever going to get back to that level? How long will it take?
Yeah, and you're sort of early-ish, mid-20s here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, that's what I mean. And right at the start.
Normally you, like, at that age, stuff heals. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? You're almost invincible at that age, aren't you?
Yeah, and like throughout my whole academy journey, I was never injured. I was one of them who'd go straight out and smash balls, even when I was in the youth team. And then it was just like, bang,
Just
injured.
that's it, done. It's horrible, mate. I feel for you because, like I said, I've had 3 cruciate ligaments myself.
3 cruciate?
3 cruciates,
Same knees?
mate. 2 in that, 1 in that, and it's just the most miserable time, mate. It's just a miserable time it is. Like you say, you're on a different schedule to everybody else. You might be in the summer when they're all on holiday and stuff, and you just don't feel you don't feel part of the team either, do you? You don't feel part of the team. No. That's the bit that kills you the most.
And when because obviously you went out to Denmark, and when you finished, was it an easy decision for you, or did you kind of?
Do you know what? It was easier than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
And maybe that was because Per offered me the role at Arsenal, the 18s head coach, and that was available. And I don't know, but it didn't feel like a hard decision for me. And that was like, football's my life. I love football. I'm one of them who will watch any football.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't feel like a difficult decision. I remember I was on the golf course and I was announcing it later that day, and I was with my dad, and it was actually harder for my dad, I think, than it was for me.
That was blonde Wilshere. You must have been bored out there.
Yeah, I was blonde.
We'll get a picture.
I was watching the Fozcast and got a bit of motivation.
Yeah, sure.
One of the teams that you did play for as well, West Ham. Just if we can, just have a little chat about them because first of all, how was your time at West Ham?
Not great,
really.
Yeah, but nothing to do with the club or the people. It was injuries again.
Yeah,
injuries and trying to play catch up, and then getting back to a certain level, and then I got a new injury, a hernia, which. I thought my ankles were sore, and when I got the hernia, I was thinking...
Them hernias?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
double
brutal.
surgery there.
Oh, they're brutal. I've had that
couldn't
as
even
well.
do that.
Yeah. Horrible, isn't
You
it?
two should do like a injury podcast.
Where did you have the operation?
In
Germany.
You're talking about Musharek.
Yeah.
So I went there.
Jesus Christ. Where's Matt Ogunsanya? Should we just get him in?
Oh, God.
I went there and she weren't there. I had to go to where'd I go? Qatar.
What, she did it out there?
Yeah.
Mate, she's done so many footballers, and
mate,
the amount
she's
she
unreal.
charges as well.
Mate, I walked in the room, you'd have had this, and like she's there. She must be
70, 80. Yeah, she's well old.
She's there on a laptop and she goes, "Take them off." What? So I got down to my pan. She went, "No, everything." Yes, I'm just stood there, and she comes and she does this finger test, like in your belly, down. She goes, "Yep, you need surgery." Other one, "Yep, you need surgery."
Yeah.
And that's that.
She's like the world leader of these.
Yeah,
so
she's unreal.
She got a bit famous like earlier on in her career, probably when Michael Owen apparently got back from having a hernia operation, got back playing within like a week or something. Apparently, there's no chance on this earth you're doing that. By the way, no chance on this earth. And by the way, I've seen it. Like I got a physio fly over me to Germany to do it, and he was like still learning and whatever. And he was like, "Can I take a video of you actually operating?" She went, "Yeah, not a problem." What they do is, right, you're obviously fully naked. Yeah, they tie a bit of tape around you, and then they tie some more tape, so they've got like a bit to sort of just so they can move you about, basically, mate. But once she's actually opened you up, right? She opens you up to do the hernia. She's like a freaking magician in there, mate. Right. She's one hand and she's just sewing stuff and she's doing this and that.
Doing what?
Mate, she's a joke. Sewing stuff, all right? It is incredible, to be fair. But they're an horrible injury themselves, aren't they? Because that affects everything else, doesn't it?
Yeah, mate. It was the worst one.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. It does all your... everything.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed this clip of the Fozcast. If you would like to watch the full episode, it is now available exclusively on Spotify for free.